We have more new developments in the response to the saltwater intrusion emergency. Good evening and thanks for being with us on the Eyewitness News at 5. I'm Mike McDaniel. Sharice and Katie are off tonight. One thing leaders continue to stress is that if you're not in Lower Plaquemines Parish, your water is still safe to drink and will continue to be so for a couple more weeks. The most important development today is President Biden's approval of Louisiana's emergency declaration. This now clears the way for federal money to be used on projects to protect our drinking water. The declaration covers 75% of the cost, so now state leaders are working on approving the rest. The toe of the salt wedge, which is the leading edge, is now just south of the Naval Air Station in Belle Chase. Water systems in Plaquemines and Jefferson parishes are now connected, and JP is providing about 100,000 gallons of drinking water to Plaquemines Parish every day. It is important we remind you that all water is safe to drink except in Lower Plaquemines. Now, the most viable option for heading off the impacts of salt in the New Orleans drinking water is a pipeline allowing the east bank of the city to draw water from upriver. City leaders are now hoping to begin building that pipeline in 7 to 10 days. As Paul Murphy explains, city council members were briefed on the plan today.
It's not a done deal, but the New Orleans Sewage and Water Board is working on a plan to maintain a steady flow of fresh water to city residents. A wedge of salt water is making its way up the Mississippi River from the Gulf. The leading edge of the salt is currently near Jesuit Bend, about 20 miles south of the city.
Right now, the Mississippi River is flowing at 150,000 cubic feet per second, so half of what we need to keep the salt water from intruding.
Wednesday, Water Board officials told city council members engineers are already working on a 10 to 12 mile long pipeline. It would allow the east bank of Orleans and Jefferson parishes to draw water from a location north of Kenner above the saltwater wedge.
To be able to end up with an intake at that location and pump and pipe that downstream into our intakes, and as well as Jefferson parishes, does remain our most viable option.
The estimated price tag, $120 million to $200 million.
This is an opportunity actually to correct this situation before it impacts the larger water districts in the region, and it's a potential permanent solution as far as being able to utilize this in future years.
President Biden signed off on an emergency declaration in Jefferson, Orleans, Plaquemines, and St. Bernard parishes that unlocks potential federal funding to help keep fresh water in people's faucets.
The federal declaration is crucial for us. That opens the door for any number of the solutions that we're talking about.
There is also help on the way for the city's smaller water plant in Algiers. That facility is expected to receive barge loads of water from the Army Corps of Engineers and special filters capable of taking salt out of salt water. Paul Murphy, Eyewitness News.
City leaders tell us they do have suppliers and contractors lined up to build that pipeline. The Sewerage and Water Board is now working with the state to help cover the cost of the project, which will be built in stages. They hope to have something in place by the end of the month.